Dominion. Alex Loughton and the Monarchs may get in as an at-large, hoping to leave nothing to chance tonight. See who rises to the occasion next. Hugely anticipated matchup in Richmond. NCAA tournament on the line, an electric atmosphere. Championship week presented by 7-Up. The Colonial Athletic Association championship game. Virginia, Commonwealth, and Old Dominion. The top two seeds, traditional rivals, both playing in their home state. Certainly everything this conference could have hoped for. Old Dominion came from 13 down in the first half to beat Hofstra in the semis yesterday. As for Virginia Commonwealth, they trailed in the second half before pulling away from North Carolina Wilmington late in the ball game. Dave Revs and Bob Valvano with you. And Bob, the atmosphere is unbelievable in this. Everything this conference could have hoped for.
Yes, they absolutely got a perfect setting. 1 versus 2. They split during the regular season. These schools are separated by not much more than an hour's driving time on I-64. It's going to be a packed house. Just everything you'd want in a championship game.
Now, we're basically on the campus of Virginia Commonwealth here. It's right in downtown Richmond. Old Dominion not far away. And as Bob said, they had a great contingent, a great fan following in the semis yesterday. Our Star Watch featuring the front court, Bob.
Well, certainly the guy at the top, Nick George, has been on fire in the last 13 games, Trevor. He is 57 for 101. That is way over 50%. And his counterpart, Alex Loughton, is a guy who was the conference player of the year. He shoots over 50% from the field. Important because Old Dominion does not give up a high shooting percentage.
Dropped 45 on Charlotte last year. Rest of the lineups, Michael Dole's the other big star for the Rams. 22 straight games in double figures. For the Monarchs, Drew Williamson leads the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio. Threw for more than 4,000 yards in high school. Had a scholarship offer to be a quarterback at Wake Forest. Those are the starting lineups brought to you by Staples. Virginia Commonwealth comes out in its gold uniforms. Old Dominion will be in the whites, wearing the home uniforms as the top seed. Rams went to the NCAA tourney last year, nearly got a win in the tournament as well as they lost to Wake Forest by 1 in the first round. Old Dominion has not been to the dance since 1997.
Well, certainly the guy we are going to all want to watch, and not only the player of the year, Loughton, but a couple of guys for VCU. We mentioned George, but Michael Doles also has been on fire coming into this tournament. 64 for 124, but Rever has not had really good games in this tournament. He's got to step up big this evening.
Our Star Watch guy, George, going up for the opening tip and winning it for VCU. B.A. Walker controlling now for the Rams. That's Nick George. Now rolling. Walker. Pelarosa leaves it short. And the rebound to Kaya Thomas for Old Dominion. This is Thomas. Now Loughton. Again, the conference player of the year, an Australian. Hunter with the jumper. Won't go. And here comes VCU.
You see, I think a little tension. Nobody's racing it up the floor. It's a lot of respect for these two teams. You can see the way they're attacking at each end.
Now backing in, rolling, can't get it to go. Loughton saves it from going out of bounds, and here comes Isaiah Hunter on the run for Old Dominion. Hunter, Williamson, has it blocked by Rowland.
I'm not surprised. These two teams put on pretty good defensive exhibitions in the first 2 rounds of this tournament, and they're getting it done defensively early.
Virginia Commonwealth had won 10 straight matchups with Old Dominion before the Monarchs beat them last month. Old Dominion, 27 wins, have a good shot at making it as an at-large if they don't win this game, depending on who you listen to anyway, as that jumper is way short.
Blocked. Good hustle. They played zone on the baseline out of bounds, rather, and they had good rotation that time to challenge the shooter.
Pelarosa. Now George.
Oh, they need that. I can't tell you how much they need that. He really has not played that well against Old Dominion throughout his career. He's averaged under 10 points a game, but that first one can get him going in a big way.
First team all-conference pick, George was. Native of Manchester, England, and now he comes up with a steal. George ahead of the pack, and he throws it down.
Well, considering he'd only been averaging, as I said, about 8 points a game against them, he's got 5 already. He's off to a flying start.
Young man who started playing basketball at age 14. A latecomer of this game, growing up in England, obviously more of a soccer player. Came over to the U.S. as an exchange student and has really flourished at Virginia Commonwealth. Now Kaya Thomas. This is Loughton on the blocks. Loughton is fouled, and he can't get it to go. He'll go to the stripe.
I love that on the biggest stage, your team getting off to a wobbly start, you demand the basketball. If you're the best player, you demand the basketball, and then when you get it, you don't make them regret throwing it to you. What a strong move. Almost turned it into a three-point play. And he's a good free throw shooter also, which is significant. Foul
went against Rowland. His first, as you take a look at Jeff Capel, who's done a phenomenal job, the youngest coach in Division I. Loughton rolls home the free throw. Loughton, an Australian, trained with a professional team, the Perth Wildcats, owned by Luke Longley, former NBA star. He contacted former ODU assistant Larry Kristoviak, now the Montana coach, his former teammate with the Chicago Bulls. Old Dominion brought him over on a visit, and next thing you know, they've got the Conference Player of the Year.
Well, he said he likes it. It reminds him of Perth. He said both cities are on the water, so he felt right at home in Milford.
Fascinating guy. Had a chance to spend some time with him today. Academic All-American pick, great sense of humor. And now George fouled on the way up. It's going to go against Arno Dahi. First on Dahi.
Well, there's great respect on both of these teams' parts for the other, yet there's very little fear. They split during the regular season. I heard the VCU players, a number of them saying, this is exactly who we wanted in the finals. That's why the number 2 seed was so important to us, because we knew we'd get them in the finals. They got what they wanted, a packed house, great electric atmosphere.
George misses the first free throw. Just shy of a 70% foul shooter on the season. Ooh, missed them both, but the rebound to Knowles, who puts it back up and in.
I'm going to talk about that as we roll on, but one of the things both these teams have, Rever, is great balance, and you saw it in the runs they put together in the semifinals.
6 different players have led Old Dominion in scoring this year. Williamson is one of them, hanging in the air, stripped from behind.
Great block.
It's going to be a hell ball situation. It'll go to Old Dominion.
The last time VCU played zone on this baseline out of bounds, the Old Dominion did a nice job getting it in the lane and getting a three-point shot, but quick rotation, and VCU blocked it. Not this time, though. Nice.
Right into Loughton. So he now has 3. Again, Old Dominion certainly with the chances in that large. Now, Joe Lenardi told me today, based on the statistics he's done, he thinks about a 1 in 3 chance of making it. Rowland misses, knocked out of bounds. It's going to be Old Dominion ball. Remember, Virginia Commonwealth made it to the tourney last year. Will not make it this year unless they win this game. And you see Lane Taylor, who has just done a phenomenal job coming here to Old Dominion.
Yeah, Coach of the Year, great record, all-time record for wins, and really it would be unprecedented. No team has won 27 games and not gotten an NCAA bid.
Nice high low, but Dahi couldn't handle it. Comes VCU in the person of George. And he throws it away. It's going to be a backcourt violation. Walker got to track it down.
Yes, absolutely. Guys make that mistake. You got to make sure you pick that ball up. And plus, the further you let it go, the deeper they get to inbound it. So you always want to pick it up as quickly as you can. Now you see the officials getting ready to put it in. And foul line extended. It's much more difficult to defend if there is a sideline out of bounds play.
See, Jeff Capel turned 30 years old last month. Amazing.
I wonder how many times when he goes on the road, they assume he's the assistant.
He was playing at Duke about 10 minutes ago, wasn't he?
I think that's about right.
Vasilius, Lithuanian in the game, who provided a lot of energy yesterday off the bench. He misses, but guess who?
Yeah. You know, early in the game, Rever, you let the emotion play itself out, and then you see the guys engage in battle. We're still getting through the emotion stage here.
It's going to be a foul. And it's going to go against Old Dominion. Vasilius gets called for it. Early on, tight game as expected. Virginia Commonwealth on top by 2 with a tourney bid on the line in Richmond. Back in Richmond, Virginia Commonwealth on top early on by 2. Matchup of in-state rivals here in Old Dominion's put together an unbelievable season here, Bob. 27 wins, most in school history, second most in conference history. Only the David Robinson-led Navy team had more.
In what, 85? So remarkable run. But we talked about the numbers really are in their favor. No team has ever won 27 games and not gotten an at-large bid. Here's a turnover.
There's a steal by Williamson, has it blocked from behind, but Isaiah Hunter following up on the play, lays it in.
When you're struggling a little bit, make a play defensively. That gets you back on track. That's a great play off the baseline out of bounds to get an easy one for them.
Old Dominion RPI of 33, Bob. At the old RPI, they'd be at 52. So for a year ago, they certainly would have been very, very much on the bubble. Probably wouldn't even be having the conversation, frankly.
Going to get a foul here on the scramble on the loose ball.
It's going to go against Williamson.
Yeah, but I think, you know, you look at that, only twice has a team that's won 26 games not gone. Howard in 1987, Southern Illinois in 1990, UNLV in 92 didn't go, but they couldn't go. They were on probation. That's the last time a team with 26 wins didn't go. 15 years ago, never a 27-win team left out. So I think they certainly have a case to think they got a pretty darn good shot.
9 top 100 wins. That's more than Creighton. It's more than Southern Illinois. It's far more than St. Mary's. It's more than Pacific. As Doyle misses the jumper, Williamson the rebound.
That's what I mean. They've settled in now. The emotions worn off. Now they're engaged in the battle. They look much more relaxed, much more in rhythm. Getting the ball right where they want it to a big fella.
Loudon on the baseline.
Oh, nice. How tough is that? I mean, it was just forget about passing out of the double team. It was like John O'Sullivan, take on all comers. Bring them all.
7 already for the big Aussie. ODU on an 8-0 run. Doles, Palarosa.
Well, we talked about the balance. You know, when they put that run together, that broke open the semifinal game, took it from a tie game to a 10-point lead. They had 5 different guys score in that run. That's what they do. When a lot of people are handling it, that's when they're dangerous.
Now Loudon working on Rowland. Loudon goes up. Ball knocked away, and it's going to be Rams ball. Here comes Palarosa. Walker. And a walk call.
The turnovers are absolutely huge for Old Dominion. For a team that's 27-5, many of their stats are rather ordinary, except turnovers. They create 5 more a game than they make, and with that good shooting percentage, they shoot about 44.5%. They take advantage of that, so they've got to force turnovers to be effective.
Far and away the best in the league, that turnover margin. As you see Arno Dahi take a seat for Old Dominion.
Well, nobody seems in a rush, though, offensively. They're both willing to settle in, do what they do.
Johnson to the hoop and draws the foul.
You know, you look and you say, how can they score that easily off such a simple play? But that's what happens when it goes in Loudon's hands. It freezes everybody for a minute. As they're watching him, he makes the simple handoff on the rub, opens up the driving lane and the layup, and the possible 3-point play now for Johnson.
Foul goes on Reed, his first. Johnson, high school backcourt mate of Memphis's Darius Washington last season, hits the free throw. So the accounting major, he said, you know what I'd like to do is take care of Darius Washington's money.
You can make a nice living doing that, I'm going to think.
Harper cut off on the penetration.
Look at that flying around defensively.
Now Doles. Spin move. Gets it into Reed. Well, he hits the fadeaway.
They earned that one, rather. That was a 6-pass possession. Everything challenged. That was a good bucket for the Rams. They needed that one.
First 2 for Derek Reed, senior, out of Richmond. He and Doles, high school teammates, reunited after Doles transferred from Wright State. Hunter misses the jumper. Johnson comes out of there with it.
Whoops. Good save. Nope, going to be a turnover.
Knocked away. And Harper finishes.
Now, you know, coach all you want, prepare all you want, but this game could come down to a couple of plays like that. Just hustle plays, getting to a loose ball first. That's a big bucket. Now 5 different guys have scored for VCU.
13-12 in favor of the Rams. Hunter.
That's a good answer, huh? Good look off the screen.
5 points now for Isaiah Hunter.
Walker. Didn't want to challenge the big fella. Maybe not such a bad idea.
Jumper is off, and Hunter has the rebound off the miss by George. Hunter can't get it to go, and George rebounds.
Old Dominion looking to push tempo a little bit here. Both these teams average in the 70s scoring, so they're not going to walk it up just for the sake of controlling tempo. But Old Dominion looks a little bit more eager to get this game rolled up and down right now.
Harper works around the screen. Now Walker.
Get over screens, though, Rever. They avoided about 3 different screens off the ball. Another good one over there. Good defense by Henderson that time.
On the blocks, this is Reed. Nowhere to go. Shot clock down to 4. And now a steal. Vasilius. Hunter. Misses the layup. It goes out of bounds. And it's going to go to VCU. Old Dominion on top 15-13. Blown a chance, though, there to extend the lead. Old Dominion on top of VCU, 15-13. Championship week presented by 7-Up Colonial Championship game. As we remind you, later tonight, as soon as we're done, Missouri Valley Conference Championship, Southwest Missouri State against Creighton. Southwest Missouri State, talk about hot and cold teams. They've been crazy this year, up and down. As for Creighton, on a great winning streak. This is a team that a month ago you would have said had no chance, Bob.
Yeah, well, certainly, and the league itself has come back. 5 teams in the top 50 in the RPI. They've never had more than 3 in the top 50, so they are a force to be reckoned with come this Selection Sunday and this whole championship week. No question about it.
People think Creighton maybe now might make it as an at-large. The bracketologists out there, Southern Illinois, almost everyone figures is in. Shot clock down to about 15 now. Walker, Doles.
I like the change in defenses. Came out of the timeout in the zone, and they got a good defensive possession. Not really a great shot on a rebound.
Johnson has it knocked away temporarily from behind. Ryan Henderson, number 20, into the lineup for Old Dominion. As is John Morris. That's Morris, number 3. Now Dahi. Shot clock down under 5. Johnson hanging in the air. Can't get it to go. Dahi fighting for the rebound. Back up with it and cannot get it. Battle for it, and a walk called on Henderson.
Duke Edsel makes the call, and I talked to him before the game, and all 3 officials said the same thing. These teams know each other well. They expected a physical game. They were going to try and let them play early and try and talk them into getting it under control, not do it by getting whistle happy. And so far, Trevor, I think they've done a pretty good job with it. The game's got a nice flow.
We approach the midway point now of the first half. Old Dominion trying to leave nothing to doubt. 27 wins, as Bob mentioned. We've never had a team with 27 wins not make the NCAA tourney. The Monarchs certainly don't want to see if this year will be the first time it happens. VCU needs this win to get in. Pelarosa penetrates, loses the ball. 5th turnover for the Rams. Here comes Morris. Johnson has it go out of his hands, and they turn it right back over.
Well, that is absolutely what you cannot afford when you base your... Oh, wait a minute. Are we getting a foul? We got a foul call. That's what the argument is. Jeff Capel certainly wouldn't be up arguing if his team were going to get the basketball. So there's a foul call on that play.
2 conflicting signals there. Official underneath the basket.
Now, take a look. Here's the bounce pass. Duke Edsel, the baseline official right there. So as you see, pointing up the floor for a turnover. But the trail official simultaneously has the call for the foul. And that's what's got Jeff Capel upset. But as I was starting to say, Old Dominion has 7 points off of 4 VCU turnovers already. They can't afford to make turnovers off of turnovers. They got away with one there. That was close to giving it right back. Instead, they get the basketball back.
See the frustration from Jeff Capel. Was an assistant for his father for a year at Old Dominion.
Because they want Williams to throw that ball in the backcourt since that's his background. They felt right at home. Yeah, curling it downfield.
Well, 4,000 passing yards as a senior in high school.
That's a lot of yards.
Wake Forest wanted him as a quarterback. North Carolina was going to have him walk on for basketball. Matt Doherty wanted him, but then when Roy Williams took over, he was out of luck. Instead came to Old Dominion. with a scholarship. Doles misses. Dahi gets the rebound.
Old Dominion was determined to make a turnover off of the turnover. They finally did on that lob, but didn't get hurt by it because VCU couldn't convert.
Dahi hangs in the air and hits.
He's got not only obvious to look at him some good upper body strength, but quick feet. I mean, he gets the ball and he's in the lane in a hurry. Then he's strong enough to get himself gathered. Give you that little up fake and score. It's a nice move.
Native of the Ivory Coast. Been distracted a bit at times this year by the political unrest in his homeland. His family's been affected. Dixon misses the jumper. Loughton the rebound.
The crowd cheered because Nick George just checked into the table. He's getting ready to come back in the game.
Williamson not there. Doles the rebound. And now Pelarosa going to slow it up for VCU.
Not that Jeff Capel needs defending, but all 4 turnovers that George committed led to 7 points for Old Dominion. I think the coach just wanted to settle him down a bit. He got a little bit out of control there. He'll be ready to check back in next stoppage.
Been nearly 5 minutes since VCU has scored. Doles misses that one. Rolling the rebound, and the drought is over.
He's another guy that's been on fire. In the last 13 games, he's 31 for 53. I mean, these guys are shooting way over 50% at the most important time of the year.
Williamson inside Loughton, who lays it in.
How perfect the delivery was that. That's right off the blackboard. Use the dribble to give yourself a better passing lane to the big fella. And he put it right on the money. Easy finish for Loughton. Back screen coming. He's open. He missed him.
VCU shooting 41% early on. Old Dominion 40%. So neither team really lighting it up here. But as you said, VCU's been very hot coming into this one. Doles shoots it long, and here comes Old Dominion. Williamson going to slow things up.
You got a timeout.
Now the official calling a timeout, and Dahi is hurt.
The way he's standing, that looks like a separated shoulder. When a guy stands like that, that's never a good sign. I mean, it could be a stinger, but I don't think so. That's a shoulder that's popped out. Question is, to what severity is it?
So Dahi getting looked at could be a huge blow for Old Dominion. He's a 10-point-a-game scorer. We'll tell you what the story is when we come back. Old Dominion by 4 over VCU, but a scary moment for the Monarchs. And Arno Dahi getting hurt here. Bob, what happened?
Watch right here. His left arm goes up. You see it gets bent back. Coming down the lane for VCU. Roland comes. I watch it again. Roland right in there. And your hands up there anticipating the ball coming. You don't anticipate that guy coming with all the momentum from the other side. It just pushed it back. You can see he's trying to stretch that out, I guess. To state the obvious, it must not be separated or he wouldn't be sitting there. He just might have hyperextended it a bit, and he's just trying to feel it's okay to go back in the ball game. But you always get nervous when that happens. It's very easy to have a separation on that type of play.
That is the encouraging news. Did not go back to the locker room. Thomas.
Oh, man. They are just rather, in the last 4 minutes, the confidence level has swung clearly to Old Dominion. They feel like they can get stops. They feel like they can get the looks they want. They threw it right inside to Loughton that time. And that possession kind of the same thing. And now very aggressive in the zone here.
Biggest lead for them at 5. And then Roland going up. And he was grabbed on the jersey by Sam Harris. The 7'3" Aussie. Tallest player in Division I. Old Dominion and Virginia Commonwealth. It's championship week presented by 7-Up. The Colonial Championship here in Richmond. A nearly sold out Richmond Coliseum. Dave Revson, Bob Valvano with you. The main storyline in this game for Virginia Commonwealth, it's obvious. They need to win to get into the NCAA tournament for the 2nd straight year. Gave Wake Forest all it could handle last year before losing by 1. It's not quite as clear-cut for Old Dominion. Obviously, a win gets them in. A loss, and they sit around and wait until Sunday. 27 wins, though. As Bob has mentioned, no team has ever been left out with 27 wins.
And frankly, around the country, if you're one of those multi-bid conferences, you're hoping that Old Dominion wins this, so you don't have to worry about 2 coming from this league.
Thomas again hits the 3.
Man, just confident as can be. The 35% three-point shooter. They are just getting everything they want right out of their offense now. That's what I mean about the confidence factor.
Well, the issue for Old Dominion, in case you're wondering why this isn't just a shoe-in, they may end up beating no teams that make the NCAA tournament this year. Best wins, St. Joe's probably the best win so far. Kent State. Pelarosa battling for the rebound. Here comes Williamson the other way. Now in the wing for Hunter Alte to shoot the three. Can't get it to go.
VCU needs some sort of an answer, making a play defensively to get themselves a run out on an easy one. They're coming down and just slowing it up and letting Old Dominion set their defense. And right now their defense has been very good the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Now George going to the hoop and missing. Here comes Kaya Thomas. He's got Williamson on the wing.
And just contrast the types of shots, Dave, from one end to the other. Old Dominion coming right down and getting everything they want out of their sets, beating them down in transition. VCU walking it up the floor, letting Old Dominion get set, taking some bad shots, and they're one and done.
The lead now has been extended to 10 for the Monarchs.
Perfect stop right outside the free throw line, in the lane, jump stop, and no possibility of a charge because he got himself on balance with a good finish.
So a 9-1 run now for the Monarchs. Biggest lead of the ball game. As we remind you, ESPN2's coverage of college basketball championship week continues tonight. It's Ryder and Niagara, the Metro Atlantic Conference Championship. Championship week presented by 7-Up on ESPN2. Later tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. And we know Digger Phelps, a vested interest in that.
I say, Digger's alma mater. Ryder, good scoring team at 76 points a game, but Niagara puts them to shame, 85 points a game. So if you like offense, that'll be one you want to tune in. And Joe Mahalik, the coach at Niagara, a good guy, and knows a special season for him. His mother's battling cancer, and really a good guy, and I wish him all the best as well as they go through that fight.
Walker, now Pelarosa. Walker gets the roll. First two for B.A. Walker. Two-time small school player of the year in the state of Virginia.
Boy, they needed that one out of the timeout. Get one in the lane, get a little leaner. Look how easily they're getting the ball around the basket, though.
Harris has it knocked away on the way up. Battle on the floor, and it's going to be a held ball. It will go to Virginia Commonwealth.
Now, this is a big possession right now. They scored out of the timeout. They get a stop, a hustle play on the floor. Now can they bring it up against this defense that is going to be set for them and get the kind of look they want? Good news for Old Dominion because Dahi's coming back in the ballgame.
Well, that is huge. Dahi, again, if you just joined us, one of their best players, a double-figure scorer. Knocked his shoulder a few minutes ago underneath in a scramble for a loose ball, but he is back in the lineup.
This may sound like a simple thing, but watch how well Old Dominion avoids contact when they try to be screened. That's such a key defensively. And they did it that time, and it leads to a turnover.
Quick hands there by Kaya Thomas.
Good defensive players. Sorry, Reverend. Good defensive players don't allow themselves to be screened. They simply are like moving targets, and you can't get a clean shot at them. ODU does a nice job of it.
Foul on VCU, just about everything going Old Dominion's way as they lead it by 8. You're absolutely right, Digger. 26-18 Old Dominion on top of VCU, and VCU got off to the great start as Digger talked about. Old Dominion was struggling, but as we take a look at Shooting the Rock, brought to us by Rolling Rock, the story has changed dramatically, Bob.
And that's in large measure because they're getting stops, they're getting easier looks, just 2 of 7 and then 50% since, but they've gotten much easier buckets because they've gotten some stops, gotten some runouts, and maybe George gets going again. He had the first 5 points and he's been silent since. Maybe he can stem the tide a little bit, but right now it's very wobbly for VCU.
Kyle Thomas had a couple big hoops in the first half. This is Thomas, thinks about the 3. Now Johnson. Hunter. Hunter for 3.
Oh, that was halfway down.
And Reed's got the rebound.
That's a big break for VCU. Get a chance. That would be psychologically get this thing 6 or 5 points. They've struggled a bit. They feel like they're back in it.
Pelarosa working on the blocks. Fouled on the way up.
And once in a while, you just got to play with My old high school coach used to call snot in the nose basketball, Rever. Just get it to the block, demand the basketball, catch it, get fouled, and go to the free throw line, because they have been laboring against the different looks that Old Dominion's been giving them defensively.
Foul goes on Brandon Johnson. Pelarosa to the line. Pretty interesting kid. Thought he would get a football scholarship. Coming out of high school, he went to Fort Union Military Academy, which so many great college football players produced there. He didn't get the necessary SAT scores, though, until after signing day. He had also been the Richmond area basketball player of the year in high school, and Jeff Capel said, well, we're out of scholarships, but you want to come and walk on, we can probably get you one next year. And obviously it's worked out. A starter for him, and one of his key contributors, a guy who plays about 23 minutes a game.
Nice job against the press. You throw it in the middle of the floor. There's no press design where it's not beaten if you get it there. And sure enough, Old Dominion now able to get in there set against the zone here.
Johnson trying to get it inside there to Vasilius. A kick, so they're going to reset the shot clock.
Well, the good news for Old Dominion was they kind of padded their lead with the big foul out of the game, and Loughton comes back in now. They got one layup off their baseline out of bounds play for Loughton. Let's see what they have this time out of this spread set. Middle's wide open.
Approach 35 for the Monarchs.
Oh, he's open again. He missed him.
Well, they had Loughton there momentarily. Now Williamson. This is Johnson.
I think these teams have played the zone pretty well. Not a lot of holes.
Split the two regular season meetings, each team winning on its home court.
Trying to screen inside for Loughton against the zone. They did, but still made him shoot a tough shot.
Rebound is tied up. Another held ball, and this one will go to the Monarchs.
Nice job of screening against the zone there. Vasilius came and screened Loughton, who came right, flashed right to the middle. Got a turnaround, but wasn't that easy a shot. Certainly one he's capable of making on the player of the year.
ODU's owned the board so far, a 19-12 advantage. The advantage on the scoreboard is 6. And Blaine Taylor wants to talk things over. As we remind you, later tonight, ESPN's coverage of Championship Week presented by 7-Up continues as St. Mary's takes on Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference Championship Week. It's Championship Week presented by 7-Up. Tonight, midnight Eastern time, the Gales and the Bulldogs, and St. Mary's really hanging its hat on a win earlier this year against Gonzaga. Most people seem to think that they're in now by virtue of getting to that championship game. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, you make the point. We've talked about it. This is the highest the West Coast Conference has been ranked as a conference. How in the world can they just get one team in? You got to think that there's got to be somebody else, and St. Mary's has the best resume of the others. But, of course, the committee doesn't look at it that way.
There you see Paul Marigny, 20 points, most of them, or a lot of them anyway, from the free throw line in the semis against Santa Clara. The league is 7th in the RPI, and Gonzaga this year has certainly gotten a lot of tests, and they are a very good team. Perhaps as good as they've been in recent memory. So if you use that as a litmus test, you figure maybe they deserve certainly more than the one. Loughton missing, and the rebound to Doles.
It's going to be fascinating to see how far Gonzaga can go in the big dance, because there are a lot of people, me included, who think there are not very many missing parts on that ball club.
That's about as good a front line as you're going to find. And gotten a great job, too. The point guard position by Rivio. Now off the air ball, here comes Old Dominion. Williamson. Now they slow things up.
You just get the feeling it's their control, though. They're going fast when they want, slow when they want.
And Williamson hits the three.
And they're making threes when they want. That was largely set up by their defense. They've held VCU to under 40% field goal shooting. They're dominating them on the backboards. And they're creating some turnovers. They almost create one there.
Doles. Spin move runs right into Loughton, and it's an offensive foul.
They're really getting it going now defensively. That's what's triggered everything good at the offensive end. All started because what they're doing defensively, they confused them with this zone. They're getting a good rotation. Watch right there, bang. Not much debate about that. I think he put his shoulder right between the 4 and the 0 on Loughton's jersey. That is a great bit of team defense.
Second foul on Doles.
But they give it back.
Henderson walked at midcourt.
That's what we've talked about. A team that's thriving on turnover differential. You just can't make turnovers off turnovers. But right now they're playing such good defense across the board. Hasn't made a difference. They've just come back and gotten a stop. George got off to that great start. 2 for 2 the first couple of minutes. 0 for 3 since and 5 turnovers. We've said he's got to have a good game. Started well, struggled since.
Walker to Reed, little baby hook.
And that's a nice job out of VCU. They got the ball back, turnover off a turnover, and they converted. Now they stay in that press. See if they can put a little run together. They might. That's dangerous.
Loudon, the player of the year, nearly loses it. Gets it back though. Pretty serious. Offensive foul. It's going to go against Hunter.
Yeah, that's just what Jeff Capel wanted. I don't care if he is the player of the year. Anytime you see the big 6'9" guy dribbling out of control, good things are going to happen for the defense. He does a great job hustling to get it, but in the chaos, stands there. Good hustle by Reed. Picks up the charge. Another turnover. Now VCU late here to take what was on the cusp of a 12, 13, 14-point lead. Get this thing back down to 5 or less.
It's been as big as 10. See about a 4-second differential. Shot clock and game clock. Seven-up halftime report with Carl Ravitch and Bigger Phelps just around the corner. Walker for 3. Not there. Another 3 try won't go. Tip no good by George. And that'll do it. So VCU unable to chip further into that lead. Old Dominion behind Alex Loudon, the player of the year in this league. 9 points and 5 rebounds. It's Old Dominion 20 minutes away from guaranteeing a tournament bid. Monarchs by 7 at the break. Let's go to Carl Ravitch now in our studios.
Championship week presented by 7-Up, and in the first half it's been Old Dominion leading Virginia Commonwealth 29-22, the top seed on top by 7 over the number 2 seed. Dave Revson, Bob Valvano back with you. And what jumped out at you in the first half, Bob?
Old Dominion's defense. They gave him different looks, held him to 36% shooting, out-rebounded him 20-14, and held the big 3 to just 4 of 13 shooting. Defense has really set the tone for the Monarchs.
Old Dominion, a great defensive team this year, but Virginia Commonwealth's had a lot of success, scoring more than 70 points in both games against them. On pace, obviously, for just 44 here, and some of that plays out, obviously, in the numbers here, Bob.
Well, you take a look at that 1 for 9 3-point shooting, and again, the big thing, Old Dominion, the 8 offensive rebounds. So it's not only they're winning the rebound battle, but getting second chance points.
So we begin the second half. Virginia Commonwealth in the gold, Old Dominion in the white. The Monarchs 27 wins this year, the regular season champs in this league. Virginia Commonwealth made it to the dance last year as the ball's knocked out of bounds. It'll be VCU basketball. They lost by 1 to Wake Forest last season, so trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd straight year. This is a league that's had a lot of success in the dance. UNC Wilmington won a game as a 13 seed in 2002. Richmond beat South Carolina in 98. Old Dominion over Villanova in 95. Lots of close calls as well. In fact, in the last decade, they've had more wins than double-digit losses. Shot clock winding down. George misses. And the rebound to Dye. He was banged up in the first half. It appears to be all right. Loudon, conference player of the year, hits on the baseline.
How perfect the first possession for Old Dominion was that. Almost a turnover, a desperation shot with 2 on the clock, and then they get it to their big gun, and he scores easily.
11 points now for Loudon. Native of Australia, Pelarosa trying to get it inside. It's kicked by Rowland, and it's going to be a fresh 35.
One nice thing, the officials said they try and let him play, and they have. Only 11 fouls called in the first half. Nobody on Old Dominion with more than 1.
Loudon, the leading scorer, 11 points. No fouls in the first half. Now the steal. Here come the Monarchs. Williamson ahead of the pack. Misses the layup, and Pelarosa's got it for VCU. Now Pelarosa. Doles. Misses the pull-up and the rebound to Loudon.
They just haven't had any answers. They've had no consistent flow 1 for 9 behind the arc in the first half, VCU, and still struggling all across the board offensively.
Loudon back to Williamson. Distant cousin of Oklahoma State's James on Curry. Now Thomas over to Hunter. Loudon. Well, he is tough.
There's a little clinic. Had a play in the post. Square up, little fake, off the bounce, 13 points, 6 rebounds. Getting very, very shaky for VCU.
Largest lead of the game, 33-22. Walker. Now George was great early, has struggled since. I think he got poked in the eye there.
He did. He definitely did. Incidental contact, but it's easy for us to say incidental. It's not our eye. He's trying to shake that off.
George 5 points early and has not scored since. First team all-conference pick, 3rd leading scorer in the league. What's Old Dominion done to shut him down?
Well, really, he's been the one that's kind of shut himself down. He made those turnovers. I think he got those 5 points early, and then he tried to do a little too much. They took him out. He got taken out of the game by his coach, and he hasn't been able to get back in a rhythm since.
Did spend a big portion of the first half on the bench. He's gone scoreless the last 20 minutes of this game, and now Dahi again got the shoulder.
That is so tough, because you can play for stretches at a time where it doesn't apparently bother you at all, and then just one play. Take a look. That one nobody even touched him. It was just the way he landed, the momentum of his own body weight just puts a stress on the shoulder, and off he goes, and he's in great pain again.
Dahi, a sophomore from the Ivory Coast, one of the highest profile recruits ever at Old Dominion. Had an offer from Wisconsin, among others, a top 100 player. In obvious pain on the bench as George hits the free throw. And his first points in just over 20 minutes. Really stepped up as a leader. Jeff Capel, very complimentary of his ability to become a leader this year for this team. Now with 7. Dahi is still on the end of the bench, and we'll take a look at whether or not he heads off into the locker room, but he is in some obvious agony right now. Loudon. This is Vasilius. Good work on the boards by Vasilius, and he'll go to the strike.
Yeah, but it's all set up by great work by the guards and by Loudon. How effortlessly they made the entry pass. Look where he caught that, on the block, and as people come over to help, that's where the weak side rebounding lane opens, and Vasilius sees that and steps in. But if it weren't Loudon there catching it exactly where he wants to catch it, the defense wouldn't have to rotate that way.
Vasilius, native of Lithuania, could barely speak any English when he arrived in the U.S., and he learned the language in the best way possible, Bob.
Watching ESPN.
He watched ESPN and MTV. We got to give equal time.
Well, this one looks more painful than the last time.
That's a huge ice pack there on Dahi, and we hate to speculate, but it does not look like at this point he's going to come back.
Yeah, he wasn't in that much pain last time. I'll tell you, VCU, if they want to get back in this game for all their struggles offensively, it's going to have to start at the defensive end. That's how you put runs together. They got to get some stops and easy buckets.
They're trying to create something on offense. Walker. That was Palarosa. Some beautiful passing there.
That was a beautiful possession. Started by the post pass, and then they went inside, outside, got the weak side rotation. Got an easy one there. But here's where they got to get something done.
Certainly not the way they want it to happen, but one of the big guns is on the bench. Loudon with the miss. He'll certainly feel a little bit more pressure. It's going to be Old Dominion basketball.
That was just bad luck. A lot of red jerseys after that rebound.
Again, Dahi out with the shoulder injury. More than 10 points, 5.5 rebounds per game. Loudon, we all see, gets 2 more.
They've done a nice job on that baseline out of bounds play. He just comes, it's like a traffic jam there under the basket, and he makes a read based on how the defense plays it. He's got himself free a couple times.
Now 7 of 12. He's telling me today he's forging on, despite the absence in this country of his favorite dessert, sticky date pudding, which he described as a heart attack waiting to happen.
Oh, there's a ringing endorsement.
It is. It's too bad we can't get a hold of that sticky date pudding. Pellarosa off balance with the shot clock winding down. And what a big shot by Jesse Pellarosa.
That's why I say for all of their offensive woes, they're still getting some points. They've got to figure out an answer at this end.
Williamson, now Hunter.
They're working hard on the post now. It's a war in there. Look at Vasilius.
Hunter deflected, and a foul. It's going to go against Williamson.
See, that's what I mean, Rever. You get an air ball, and that gets you a rebound, and that was almost a run out. They haven't fouled. They might have gotten an easy shot.
That's a big foul. It's the third on Drew Williamson. Could be an issue. He's one of their team leaders, but so far, Loudoun has been carrying them. Old Dominion on top, 37-28. 27 wins. No team's ever been left out of the tourney with 27. Old Dominion certainly doesn't want to be the first. Very much a bubble team. Joe Lenardi telling me today that based on his bracketology, he thinks they've got about a 1 in 3 chance of getting in where they to lose this game. So far, Bob, not leaving anything to chance.
Well, that would certainly be a relief to teams like Notre Dame, I would think, and others that are on the bubble. Indiana, St. Mary's. One less fish that they have to battle in that ever-shortening pond.
A lot of teams rooting hard for Old Dominion. Doles misses. VCU battling hard for the rebound. And there's going to be a foul on the Monarchs. It's going to go against Vasilius, his second. Keep in mind, if he gets in any kind of foul trouble, Arno Dahi, who starts at that 4 position for them, is on the bench. His shoulder, there you see, surrounded by ice. He's hurt it a couple times today. The second time more severely. Hunter hanging in the air and missing. Vasilius misses the follow, and Reed clears for VCU. Here come the Rams. Now a near steal by Loudoun, and it's going to be Rams basketball.
When things get wobbly, though, Old Dominion gets it done defensively. Got a turnover, had 2 good opportunities at the offensive end, and then almost got a turnover there.
Jeff Capel's team trying to figure something out here. VCU beat Old Dominion. The game that was held here in Richmond. They lost the game in Norfolk. Walker misses. Reed doesn't.
That's just sheer effort. Nothing pretty about that. It's just grunt work. That may be what it takes to get them back in it.
Do they seem a little more intense coming out that last time out, or is it just me?
No, I think they sense it's make a move now or never.
Loudoun, offensive foul.
Getting loud in here now. One of the things, the ball's in the air, the help's got to already be coming, and there he is. If he's not there, if he's not establishing that position while the ball is in the air, that's a block and a possible 3-point play. So good team defense for Jeff Capel's club as well.
You're right, the crowd's starting to get into it. We're virtually on the Virginia Commonwealth campus. Old Dominion has a ton of fans here too as Pellarosa hits, but there are definitely more VCU fans here.
But isn't it what we talked about? How all of a sudden the defense has picked up, and now they're getting such easy looks. 6-0 run. That's the easiest shot they may have had all ball game.
So the lead is down to 5 for the Monarchs. 6-0 run for VCU. Down to 5. Fans maybe starting to sweat just a little bit. As we remind you, championship week presented by 7-Up continues following our game. Southwest Missouri State and Creighton, the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. That's coming up tonight as soon as we are done here. And Creighton, a lot of people feel like with this recent run, Bob, you see all the projections, projected brackets, the bracketology that they might be in. Look at Old Dominion, 9 top 100 wins, 7 for Creighton. Now 5 of Creighton's wins against the top 50, but all these other teams here too, Nevada, Pacific, St. Mary's, everyone's saying they're in. The case here isn't that they don't belong in, because they certainly do, but why not Old Dominion? Obviously the thing working against them, the non-conference strength of schedule really poor.
That is, you know, that's what depends on which side you're looking at it. You can, as they say, use statistics the way a drunk uses a lamppost for support, not illumination. That's what people do.
No real compelling victories for them this year. Penn State, St. Joe's, as Johnson misses. Those probably the 2 best. Missed an opportunity at DePaul to pick up kind of a signature win.
That was an opportunity there to silence people. Good look by the 35% three-point shooter. Didn't get it to go.
Walker could cut it to 2, and he does.
And now all the momentum with the Rams.
5 points for B.A. Walker. The 8th highest scorer in Virginia high school history. Has this one down to 2.
Might want to put it in Loughton's hands, even if he doesn't shoot it. Go through him. Let him get a touch. Make the defense rotate.
Hunter penetrating, hanging, missing. Loughton has to go through his hands, and here come the Rams.
That's not what I meant by let him get a touch.
He touched it. And a block is called there on Brandon Johnson. That'll be his second. Jeff Capel, 30-year-old coach, the former Duke star, was an assistant to his father for a year at Old Dominion. Then came here to Virginia Commonwealth 1 year as an assistant before taking over as the head coach. His team on a 9-0 run. Doles may have forced it, but it goes for Michael Doles.
You know what? That's the litmus test of momentum. That he would take that shot to begin with, and then he would make it. When he jumped, did you know he was going to shoot it? I wasn't sure.
I'm not sure I knew what he was doing. And I think he didn't know either.
Well, I can tell you what the result was. It's a tie game.
11-0 run now for Virginia Commonwealth. Great try by Johnson to silence them at least temporarily.
Still, you got to think it's got to go through Loughton a little bit. He hadn't touched it in a while.
He's the conference player of the year. 15 in the game. 6 in this half for the lead. B.A. Walker, 2 big threes, and VCU's on top by 1.
There's nothing that will get their confidence back than to see their leader step up and make a play for them.
Now Monarch fans really starting to sweat. First lead for the Rams since it was 13-12, and now the steal. Walker. Johnson getting out on him and trying to force the issue. He ties it up, and it's going to be Old Dominion basketball.
Well, we're going to maybe beat it over the head, but that's because it's the reality of the game. The momentum shifts in this game based on the defense.
Intensity reigning supreme. It's a 1-point ball game in Richmond.
Keep on rising.
On the 19th, conference tournament's wrapping up. The Big Ten Women's Championship, Minnesota, Michigan State's been a real good game. Jamie Brovac inside, and Minnesota now up by 2.
Okay, Ravi, here it is a 1-point lead for Virginia Commonwealth, 40-39. Alex Loughton and company led it by as many as 11 in this half. And as we take a look at our Nike game track, Bob, it's slipped away.
Well, you take a look at those numbers, pretty impressive, 15 points and 6 rebounds, but he had 3 field goals in the first 3.5 minutes this half. He hasn't taken a shot since. They were up 11 when he had those 3 field goals. They find themselves now down a point. He's got to get some touches.
And again, it bears repeating. Arno Dahi, their other really good inside presence, is on the bench right now. He wrenched his shoulder in the first half. He re-injured it early in the second half. Dahi has not returned for Old Dominion. It certainly didn't look like he was going to be able to. Kaya Thomas hanging and hitting.
The lone senior stepping up and making a big play out of the timeout.
Both these teams very young, but Old Dominion, as VCU turns it over, have nearly 90% of its scoring back next year. And as you mentioned, Thomas really the only guy they're going to lose.
And again, the defense off the turnover, and now we'll see if they can build on that. Well, that's fine, even if it's out there. Let him get his mitts on it.
Thomas going to try another one. Pelarosa the rebound. Now Pelarosa to Doles, nearly has it stolen, but it's going to be Rams basketball.
You saw in that graphic a moment ago, Pelarosa, should mention, he's been one of the reasons it turned around, averaging about 6.5 points a game, already has 8. He's made some big buckets here.
Now Walker, a lot of the major programs thought he was just a little bit too frail. But a good job running the offense, though, for Jeff Capel.
Pelarosa drew the foul that time, working hard. Picking up on Morris.
First on John Morris. Outside shooting specialist. Checked in for Blaine Taylor's team as they try to get something going offensively. Reed. Now Pelarosa. And he's fouled on the way up. Vasilius was the guy closest to him. And Vasilius gets called for the foul. So that's 3 on Vasilius now. Again, the inside problems rearing their head for Old Dominion. They're going to go to Sam Harris, the other Aussie, 7-foot 3-inch freshman. Pelarosa hits the free throw. He now has 11. Pelarosa hit the game-winning free throw in the conference championship game last year to send VCU to the NCAA tournament, where they lost by 1 to Wake Forest. Got his team back up by 1 now here. Halfway through the second half from Richmond. Nearly sold out at the Richmond Coliseum. 2 arch rivals, the 2 top seeds, going head-to-head. Battling inside, and George gets called for it. Be the first on Nick George.
They've had trouble defending these baseline out-of-bounds plays. These have been really effective for Loughton. Watch, they cause a traffic jam in the lane. Here it comes. This time they defended it well.
Now Williamson going to set up the offense. Morris.
Gonna throw it when he shows himself free. He was free twice.
Shot clock winding down towards 15. Loughton gets the roll.
That's why you got to throw it to him, right?
17 now for Alex Loughton. Conference Player of the Year.
Very hard to score without the basketball. Somebody's got to throw it to you. He's working hard enough to get it.
I'd say virtually impossible.
Yeah, good point.
George trying to answer. He misses. Kaya Thomas has the board, and here comes Williamson.
It's been a weird game in that you haven't had humongous runs in terms of points, but you can really palpably feel the momentum going back and forth.
Williamson hangs and hits.
You just knew he was going to make that because you could sense the momentum has swung back to Old Dominion right now.
Williamson nearly a North Carolina Tar Heel. Matt Doherty recruited him to walk on. When the coaching change occurred in North Carolina, there was no walk-on spot left. Nick George answering, the first-team all-conference pick.
And they needed that because, as we said, you got to go to your leaders when it's all on the line. That's his first field goal in 30 minutes.
Talk about the balance of both these teams as Thomas had it deflected. Harris gets it back, and Sam Harris goes to the free throw line. The foul there on Nick George, his second. Again, championship week presented by 7-Up, the Colonial Championship. Top 2 seeds going at it. Virginia, Commonwealth, and Old Dominion. VCU in the gold, ODU in the white. Dave Refs and Bob Valvano with you in this. Everything the conference could have hoped for, Bob. They got the top 2 teams in, and the star has come to play. The best player in this league, Alex Loughton, was 17.
I like the fact that George been able to get 7 rebounds, though. You know, he was in a scoring drought, still making his presence felt on the glass as Loughton goes out for a bit here.
Harris misses both free throws. It's going to be Rams basketball.
He's a fairly good free throw shooter, too, so that's one advantage. You get a big guy like that, you get an empty possession.
One thing Blaine Taylor told me today is just how good a touch he has for a big guy. So he was walking around campus with him, and they went to a restaurant. someone came up and said, we need to know how tall he is. And Taylor said, well, what are the guesses? And they said, well, they're between 6'10" and 7'8". So when people are guessing that a guy's 7'8", you know he's pretty tall.
Clearly not basketball fans, that's safe to say.
7'3" for the record. Dixon, no. Back up with it, Rowland. And Rowland is fouled from behind. It's going to go on Vasilius, and that's number 4. And this is reaching crisis mode now for Old Dominion. Again, Dahi on the bench. He is injured. His backup Vasilius has 4, and their team up by just 1. Championship week presented by 7-Up. Beautiful night in Richmond. It's been everything we could have hoped for inside the Richmond Coliseum. Great game between two arch rivals. Old Dominion on top by 1, trying to secure an NCAA tourney bid. Speaking of securing a bid, that's what's at stake later tonight as championship week rolls on 9 p.m. Eastern time over on ESPN2. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Championship. Ryder and Niagara going head-to-head. Championship week presented by 7-Up on ESPN2. For more information, log on to ESPN.com and listen to Bob Velvet. Do you have more information?
I do have more information about those two teams. They both won their home games this year. In the 2 games they played, there were 418 combined points scored. So I think you'll have lots of fireworks in that one.
Should be a great one. 2 up-tempo teams. Rowland hits them both. 5th lead change now in the last 4.5 minutes. Great back-and-forth game. Glad you could be with us. Dave Revson, Bob Valvano with you. Alex Loughton, 17 points and 6 rebounds for Old Dominion. He's the Conference Player of the Year. Number 40, the big Australian. This is him with the ball right now. Kaya Thomas.
See, that's the one advantage Old Dominion has. They're so aware of Loughton's presence, Trevor, that when he gets it, the defense has really overreacts sometimes, and it opens up other lanes for his teammates.
Yet another lead change. The Monarchs trying to secure a bid in the dance, otherwise they'd have to sweat it out till Sunday. It's win or stay home, or perhaps NIT for VCU as Doles gets fouled. They know, though, they're not getting in without winning this thing.
Well,
Ryan Henderson got it.
I guess you could look at it the other way. VCU's strength is their balance. They don't have that one 600-pound gorilla in the sense of Loughton, but they do have a bunch of guys at key times in the game who are capable of stepping up and scoring, including this guy, Doles.
Doles just 4 points, though, tonight. 22 straight games in double figures coming into this one for a guy who played his freshman year at Wright State, a native of Richmond, transferred to VCU to play with his high school teammate Derek Reed. Also, Mark Adams, who played with him in high school, was here, but transferred due to a lack of playing time. So they had 3 guys from Meadowbrook High School here in Richmond, and Doles has been a huge contributor for the Rams. Was fouled shooting the 3, so he's going to shoot 3 free throws. It's the first 2.
He struggled in this tournament, though, Rever. He's just 7 for 27 in the 2 games here in the tournament after being 64 for 124 in the 11 games leading up to that. So that's quite a drop-off.
Barely got into double figures in each of those first 2 games. Hits 2 of 3. Isaiah Hunter the rebound. 7 lead changes now in the last 5+ minutes.
Watch Loughton away from the ball. Just so much fun to watch his footwork.
Battle going on inside. A whistle.
And that's exactly what it was. It was the work of Loughton drawing the foul on Rowland.
3rd on Rowland. So you take a look at Alex Loughton, young man who is engaged to be married in June. On the day he proposed, set up a treasure hunt for his fiancée in his native Perth. He went to an Australian rules football game. She finished the treasure hunt a half hour before he got there. He said, you know, I got caught in traffic. It was a good game. I couldn't leave. And oddly, she still said yes.
She's all right, that girl. He's got to keep her there.
Kaya Thomas, the long 3, and he got it. Kaya Thomas has a dozen.
Well, they have been really effective off baseline out of bounds plays, though.
8 lead changes in 5.5 minutes. Harper Now Doles.
We said, bunch of guys capable of making big shots. Doles now, after that foul with the 3 free throws, confident, makes the jumper.
8 points now for Doles. 50 to 50. It comes down to the last 5.5 minutes in Richmond. Foul goes on Harper for Virginia Commonwealth. First for Alexander Harper.
Just what you'd expect. Two rivals not much more than an hour's driving time away from each other. 1 and 2 seeds in the conference, split during the regular season, tied with 5:33 to go. We should not be surprised.
5 fouls now on VCU. Lane Taylor's team has 9 here in the second half, so that certainly could become an issue. Taylor, interesting guy, again, former head coach at Montana, and then ended up going with his former coach, Mike Montgomery, to be an assistant at Stanford. So left the head coaching job to be an assistant. He said he felt like there was maybe a ceiling on where he could go from Montana, and then headed from Stanford here to Old Dominion.
Well, certainly, you know, there's no question that that's going to be, both of those situations play out into helping him here, because the head coaching experience, he's called timeouts before. He's also worked with one of the masters of the game in Mike Montgomery. I'm sure he took a lot from that experience.
His team hoping to join this crew and not have to worry about selection Sunday. The team's already going. Penn, of course, clinched the Ivy League a while back because there is no postseason tournament there. Central Florida, Winthrop, who we saw on Saturday, among the others, into the dance. Eastern Kentucky, Chattanooga, the other two, and one of these teams will join them in a matter of about 15 or 20 minutes. Thomas. Loughton, 2 more.
Players make plays. Loughton took what we affectionately call in our family the Derek Wittenberg and stuck that one back in.
No one running around looking for someone to hug after that one, though.
And that may help him get to that point, though. Players make plays late. Loughton made a big one there.
2-point ball game. Loughton now has 19, 10 of them in the second half. As Old Dominion continues to play without Arno Dye, a double-figure score, out with a shoulder injury since early in this half. Walker misses. Williamson fighting for the rebound, and he comes out of there with it. A foul on a very unhappy Derek Reed.
Great hustle play. You know, when the games are this close, as I said, it very frequently comes down to something that no matter how much you prepare, how much you drill, it's a player making a decision, making a split-second call that can make the difference. It's just an effort playing a hustle play sometimes.
Now Loughton. Offensive foul on Alex Loughton.
That's a good call, I think. Got that left hand away, warding off a little bit. Good defense. Take a look. Watch his left hand. Does he get it in there? Yeah, I think he does.
Got to agree with you. Offensive foul there on Loughton, and a good call. The lead is 2.
A lot of confidence in the zone. You can see that Blaine Taylor, one possession games, not afraid to get back and play that zone. Very active. They rotate well in it.
Both these teams have been to the NCAA tourney 7 times. One of them will wrap up in 8th bid tonight. Old Dominion hasn't been since '97. Virginia Commonwealth went last year and gave Wake Forest all it could handle before losing by 1. Shot clock under 10.
Well, they haven't advanced the ball inside 20 feet till right there.
George hanging, hitting.
I guess it doesn't matter how early you get it there. If you get it to your leading scorer where he can do something with it, that's okay. George got it in the lane with very short shot clock.
Wind down towards 3.5 minutes. 2 heated rivals. All even. Hunter.
Nice job by Reed to stay on the top side of Loughton, not letting him catch it. Look, little duck under his arm there, making him step way away from the basket.
Shot clock at 4. Williamson gets the open 3. Cannot get it to go. Vasilius can't foul there. That would have been it for him. Alertly backs off. Walker. George. Not there on the rebound to Loughton. And it's a foul on Virginia Commonwealth. Loudon will shoot when we come back. The Aussie will be at the line. It's the Brit making his presence felt, though, here. Great ball game in Richmond, going down to the wire. Thanks, Ravi. Jimmy Moats getting ready. Here it's a 52-52 game, and perimeter shooting so important for that Creighton team. Johnny Mathis, one of the guys who gets it done for them, and then Tyler McKinney, incredible story coming back from the 2 corneal transplants. I know you've got to have a Johnny Mathis line.
Chances are he's going to have to shoot. I couldn't resist. About that same percentage for them to have success.
I mean, that's putting it on the tee for you. I knew you were going to knock that one out of the park. One of our storylines, the injury to Arno Dahi, 10.5 rebound per game guy, on the bench with an apparent shoulder injury. Old Dominion has some foul trouble inside. Dahi is their starting power forward. They're forging on without him. A 52-52 ball game.
Loudon, good free throw shooter, misses the front end of the one-on-one. Obviously, down the stretch, so important.
George, double teamed in the corner, and Jeff Capel calls for the timeout.
The difference between that and the last time was they formed that double team much faster. Remember last time, they were kind of tentative when they formed it. They escaped the double team, wound up with a layup. That time, good, quick trap, forces a timeout.
Later tonight, ESPN's coverage of Championship Week presented by 7-Up continues. St. Mary's, the Gales, taking on Gonzaga, number 12 team in the nation, the West Coast Conference Championship Week presented by 7-Up on ESPN tonight at midnight Eastern time. Do you agree with the sense that St. Mary's now is in, having advanced to the finals?
I think that league is so good, and I think you're right. Getting to the finals, one that seals the deal. And look at Ronnie Toriof's numbers, 51% field goal shooting. I just love when you see that for guys, because nowadays that shooting percentage, with the emphasis on the 3, is usually so much lower. But they are so good, and as you mentioned earlier, it is such a good front line.
Outstanding front line. Jumper by Pelarosa, who hits the 3. Jesse Pelarosa. 55-52.
That's what I'm talking about. Is that drawn up off the blackboard? That's just a great individual effort. A dramatic shot, short shot clock, hand in his face. Wow.
How about that out of Jesse Pelarosa, former high school football star. 11.5, 15 in the ball game now.
Watch this. I mean, one of the great things about a short shot clock is you know you can shoot it without not worrying about, is this a good shot or not? I have to take it. There's 3 on the shot clock. Watch him with the one quick dribble to get away from Loudon, who was out chasing him. He forced him the right way. He didn't let him come in the middle. He did about everything right you could. That's why there's no shutouts in basketball. Guys just make great shots.
So now it's VCU on top. Again, the ramifications are huge for Old Dominion. They trail this game by 3. VCU knows to make the NCAA tournament, it needs to win. Old Dominion, maybe not quite as certain. The RPI is very good for them, 33. No real quality wins, though, to hang their hat on this year. No teams probably that are going to make the dance unless Kent State ends up getting there by virtue of winning the MAC. St. Joe's, maybe a borderline team to make it. But Old Dominion, to erase all doubt, needs to win this game. Loudon, nice pass underneath. Kaya Thomas misses.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's right off the blackboard out of the timeout. Blaine Taylor's got to be thinking, fellas, I can't get you any closer than that. They have to finish that one. Get a break, though, because they get it back.
Point-blank shot there for Kaya Thomas. Now Loudon.
That wasn't very aggressive baseline out of bounds play. They've had so much success on that. I'm surprised they didn't take another look around the basket.
55-52. Thomas tries to force it inside. Loudon. It goes out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Monarchs.
Blaine Taylor wondering why not a kick, why not a new shot clock? But Dugetzel says hit him in the knee. That's too high up the leg.
Loudon misses in traffic. Loose ball on the floor. Hunter's got it. And it's going to be a foul on Virginia Commonwealth.
Now 2 quick points. One, the baseline out of bounds play. Again, they got aggressive. got it to Loughton. He got a shot, and 2, just what we talked about. Nobody drew that up on the blackboard. That's just a hustle play in the scrum. Old Dominion comes out with the better of it, and now a chance to cut into this lead.
Isaiah Hunter will go to the line. Off the foul on Pellarosa. Hunter playing this year with a very heavy heart. His father, Irving, passed away in November. Kind of the team patriarch. They chartered a bus down to his funeral. Very difficult for this team to overcome that as they miss another free throw. 4 of 9 now for the Monarchs from the line. It could come back to haunt a team that shoots nearly 70% on the year.
Does this upset the at-large apple cart if it winds up ending the way it is right now?
Reed misses. Rebound to Loughton.
Big time rebound by Loughton. That was close to a tip-in. That might have put the final nail in.
ODU's gone 4 minutes plus without scoring. Williamson, we're down under a minute. Loughton, off glass, a block, and it goes for Loughton.
That is such a sophisticated play in that situation. He slips the screen. He acts like he's going to set a ball screen up top. Watch this now. Watch this. He acts as if he's setting a ball screen up top. But as the defense starts to set up to hedge on the dribbler right there, the defense starts to cheat. He recognizes it, goes to the goal. Quick explosion. The bucket and the foul.
Loughton could tie it up with the free throw. Got it. 22 for the conference player of the year.
But it worked out well for them time-wise. They have to get it back, too.
55-55, and Jeff Capel wants a timeout.
What they call in the NBA 2 for 1. That's how it played out. Just luck of it, they didn't set it up that way. They'll get 2 possessions out of the last 3.
Well, the story of this game, Bob, becomes if Old Dominion loses, do they get in or do they stay home? Or obviously they would play in the NIT. But here's the resume: 27 wins, 15-3 in the league. And one of the things that Joe Lenardi and I talked about today is, look, they didn't win the league going away. Now the league has 5 teams in the top 100 in the RPI this year. This is a much stronger league than you're used to seeing. Most people think of this as a one-bid league because basically it has been for virtually its entire existence. However, this is a strong year for the Colonial.
Well, and that's the number right there. Never in history has a team won 27 games and been left out from an at-large. Only twice has a team won 26 and been left out. That hasn't happened since 1990. So rather, history certainly smiling on them, but as you said, I know they'll sleep a lot better if they can wind up winning this last 44.9 seconds.
10 road wins. Only 6 other schools in the country have that many. Again, the non-conference strength of schedule is 249, among the worst of the teams that are kind of on the bubble. Right now, they can erase all doubt by winning this one, but it's Virginia Commonwealth with the ball in a tie game. They're trying to get to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd straight year and nearly did some damage last season. Pellarosa, we're down to 15. Doors. Now it's knocked away. Williamson's got it.
How appropriate a team that has hung its hat all year on turnover differential gets a big turnover to create the last possession.
As of right now, it doesn't look like they're going to call a timeout. Isaiah Hunter. We're winding down in the final 10 seconds. Works around a screen from Loughton. We're down to 5. Hunter hanging, missing. 0.8 of a second to go.
Very simple stuff. He got a ball screen from Loughton. He was looking for Loughton in the lane. Good defensive job by VCU, and if it's not open inside, he's supposed to take it to the hole and try and create something. He actually got a pretty good shot.
A timeout on the floor in a 55-55 game. 0.8 of a second. You got to figure they're going to try to draw something up here for Loughton, don't you?
Well,
Bob?
the danger is, quite frankly, they have had great success on the baseline out of bounds plays. Very, very quick hitters. Let's take a look here. He's been looking inside of Loughton, realizes he can't get it to him, so he gets a runner there, almost gets it to go, and then the good follow almost created a foul. But that's what the play is designed. If he can't throw it inside to Loughton, he's supposed to take it in that crease, try and go right to the hole, and he almost got it to go. Williamson almost got the follow. But this has been really dangerous. They have scored at least 3 buckets on baseline out of bounds plays, 2 layups by just converging in the lane and then breaking, reading and reacting, breaking the space. We'll see if they try and do the same thing here.
Top 2 seeds going down to the wire. Been an outstanding game here in Richmond. Alex Loughton, our player of the game.
Excuse me, Rebel, right in there. That's where the cuts have taken place in the past. They break right in front of the man throwing it in, and at that point, they read and react and break the seams. The guy who catches it easily can get it off in 8/10 of a second.
Here's what I always find interesting. You got a background in coaching, obviously. You come out in a certain set, and then another timeout is called. Do you come out in the same set? Do you change it up? What's the philosophy?
Well, you can change it up if you've got a unique set play that might have been scouted, but this baseline out of bounds play is a read and react, so really doesn't matter. You can almost tell it, here's what's coming. We're going to break here, and then if you defend it this way, we've got reads and reactions that we're going to try and make to get a shot. So that's the beauty of this baseline series. Really, they've had good success with it all night long. Talking about right here some of the decisions. It's a math course. If they do this, then we do that. That's what they're covering right now.
55-55.
If not, they box it in. You're coming in the backside. You create. Take the pass, baby. Here we go.
You can hear what Blaine Taylor's saying there. You able to overhear anything?
Just what I was telling you about. If they take this away, you're coming in the backside, you'll create. He was trying to cover. There's only a certain number of ways you can defend it, and he's trying to cover all of them so that if the defense plays one way, we're going to react this way.
Again, championship week rolls on. Missouri Valley Conference Championship, Southwest Missouri and Creighton coming up next. 8/10 of a second to go here from Richmond in what's been an outstanding game. The Monarchs.
Right there.
They're going to try the 3. Hunter not there, and we are headed to overtime.
Not a good look. Not a shot. Good defensive job by VCU, though. Didn't give up the layup in the lane. That's where they've gotten hurt before.
So Isaiah Hunter had a couple chances to win it in the last couple seconds. Unable to convert on either one, and we head to an extra 5 minutes.
That was great defense on Loughton as he was coming in the lane. They actually doubled him and left the guy at the top.
10 straight misses for Isaiah Hunter from the field, but the beauty of it for him is 5 more minutes of basketball. We're tied at 55. Championship and everything we could hope for. Top 2 seeds, 2 heated rivals, Old Dominion and VCU. Alex Loughton has been as advertised, 22 points for the Conference Player of the Year. 5 more minutes to decide this one.
Yeah, none bigger than the 3 to tie it up when it really looked like it might be getting away from him.
First overtime game in this conference tournament since 1997. Old Dominion won that one. Beat James Madison last time they made the NCAA tournament. We're at the Richmond Coliseum, top 2 seeds championship week presented by 7-Up. Dave Remsen and Bob Valvano with you. It's been an outstanding ball game. Old Dominion playing without Arno Dahi, one of their top players. He's out with his shoulder injury, suffered early in the second half. They actually injured it initially in the first half, but went out for good in the second half. They have some foul trouble, but Loughton has picked up the slack.
Not entirely sure how in the world you would defend that unless the double gets there while the pass is in the air. Once he's got room to step to the lane, that's a feather touch as tall as he is and as quickly as he gets in there.
24 now for Loughton. Native of Perth, Australia. Conference Player of the Year. Ball knocked up in the air. It's going to go to the Monarchs.
Big defensive play. They are very confident in that zone. They're not just sitting back in there. Thomas got a hand, got in the passing lane, deflected it just enough, so it went off a VCU player, and they get another opportunity.
Thomas has been great on the offensive end as well. Dozen points. Williamson. Rewind down towards 10 on the shot clock. Loughton sets the screen. Now Loughton, he can shoot the 3. Ducks inside the arc and hits.
what a night. What a night. 27 points. And none bigger than the last, let's see, 3, 5, 7. 3 to tie it, now 4 to take the lead.
59-55. Reed misses the hook. It's tipped up, no good. Battle for the ball, and Vasilius has it. So advantage Old Dominion early on here in the overtime. The Monarchs very much on the at-large bubble, hoping to end any speculation. VCU hoping to beat its heated rival and get back to the dance for the second straight year. Vasilius playing with 4 fouls. Williamson. Loudon with 3 on the shot clock. He's got to shoot it. He misses. And the rebound to George.
I can't believe he got that good a shot on that. That looked like a disastrous possession.
Now Doles. Pelarosa kicks it to Walker. George gets it inside, and Reed has the first 2 of the overtime for VCU.
Again, we'll talk about dominant players, and while VCU's really balanced, George is their leader, and you see how quickly the defense reacted when he got the ball. That's what opened up the passing lane.
They've held him to 11 in this game.
Oh, Loudon is demanding the ball right now, pointing to where the angle he wants him to throw it to get it in there.
We're down under 10 on the shot clock. Kaya Thomas tries to get it into Loudon. It's knocked away. Loudon has it. Hunter with 2 on the shot clock. He misses badly. Rebound though to Vasilius. A fresh 35. Now Loudon, they're in no hurry, tries to force it to Thomas. And we've got an official timeout here as we've got an injury on the floor.
It's
Pelarosa.
just a bizarre sequence. First of all, Loudon could have been called for a foul, pushing off on the pass. Then he made a ill-advised pass when they probably could have backed it out, and then bodies flying all over the place. Watch Loudon, he pulls up, see the left hand right there. That could have been a foul. He sensed the defender coming, he stuck his left arm out, but then when that foul wasn't called, they really could have had a free possession, and he turns it almost inexplicably, throws it across the lane. That is a hard smack right in the face, but it'll be VCU's ball when everything gets settled. He is really wobbly, my goodness. Oh, Pelarosa's having a hard time making it to the bench.
He really got smacked hard. So each team with a key contributor sitting on the bench right now. The Missouri Valley Conference Championship is up next. Southwest Missouri State and Creighton. Southwest Missouri State, one of the streakier teams in the country this year. You talk to coaches in the Missouri Valley, though, and they'll tell you they might have the most talent in the league. Here are the other automatic bids coming later tonight, the Metro Atlantic and the West Coast as well. But we've got a barn burner here in Richmond already in overtime, winding down towards the final minute of the first OT. 59-57 in favor of the Monarchs. George left it short. Rebound to Loudon.
They did a nice job putting it in their best player's
And
hands.
it's tied up, and it goes to VCU.
What a great hustle play. Again, that's what we're talking about. There's no X's and O's involved with that. That's just blood and guts.
So Jeff Capel's team getting the ball back. I think Loudon may be arguing he was trying to call timeout.
Might have been, or he may have been arguing, expecting to be fouled and was just protecting the ball, thinking that he was getting fouled. I'm not entirely sure, but once he brought that thing down, let's take a look. As he has the rebound there, he's spinning around.
Now he's just protecting the ball.
He's just, I think he anticipates once I put both hands on it, that's got to be a foul, but no, sir.
So fresh 35, a quick shot there by Doles doesn't go. Beautiful hustle, though, to track it down. And now another held ball, and this one goes to the Monarchs. And now I know Jeff Capel saying he was trying to call a timeout because you can see him gesturing for it.
Oh, man, this is just unbelievable how fast plays are taking place that very literally this NCAA bid can be hinging on.
Old Dominion hopes they've done enough to get in as an at-large. trying to erase all doubt.
And now the $64,000 question when you're down 2. Do you foul? Oh, run out.
Ahead of the pack. Hunter throws it down. Emphatically ending his field goal drought. He had missed 11 straight. And Hunter is fouled as well.
Oh, that's a bad foul at that point. Let him score.
He was 2 of 15 before powering down that jam.
Oh, what a great read. And now at this point, the damage is done. There's absolutely nothing to be gained by doing that. Polarosa, he's going to score anyway. But give credit to the offense. They went 1-4 against the press. That's a gutsy play, but when you get it, it is a big reward.
Emotional year for Hunter. Father passed away at the beginning of the season. The patriarch of this team. He played pickup games with the team when he came to visit. They all went to his funeral. Now Doles misses, rebounds to Loughton. And Loughton's going to the stripe.
Well, now they're sensing it. Although, regardless of what he does here, this is a 2-possession game. Make or miss, either or both.
An incredibly emotional year for this Old Dominion team. Talked to Alex Loughton about it earlier today. Attending Isaiah Hunter's father's funeral, there were 800 people in attendance. They chartered a bus. The entire team went down to Charlotte. Loughton, 26 points, 11 rebounds. Our Reebok player of the game.
Well, I've said it before, none will be bigger than when his team was down 3. Ran that beautiful slip screen, got the bucket, drew the foul, made the free throw, and took a 3-point deficit, got this thing to even in overtime.
Loughton one more. Now it becomes desperation time for Virginia Commonwealth.
Not yet. They got to score. You don't be desperate. They just did a quick 2.
That's not going to help. Hunter gets fouled. Back to the stripe he goes.
But I like that out of Blaine Taylor. Don't sit back and hope they miss a 3. Extend that defense, get a press, dance with the girl that brung you. They are great at creating turnovers, and they got a huge one there.
Old Dominion less than a minute away from its first NCAA tourney berth since 1997. Let's send it out to Carl Ravitch in our studio.
Rever, thank you very much. Women's Big Ten title, and it's all over. Michigan State will join the men in their tournament as they will go as the Big Ten women's champion. Kristen Haney laying it up, laying it in, a trophy-raising moment for the Lady Spartans, 55-49. Back to you, Dick.
Thanks, Carl. Old Dominion 37 seconds away from getting to the dance, and Virginia Commonwealth just hasn't been able to get anything going despite the good get-ups. And that's a good look right there.
That's a formal get-up. Flat tie and ram's horns.
You don't see that very
often. Prom like that, I think.
1 of 5 from the field. 2 turnovers in the overtime for VCU.
Are they sighing, breathing a little bit easier perhaps in South Bend or Bloomington or St. Mary's even, places that were hoping this would be a 1-bid lead? You know, that is a great point you make when you talk to Joe Lenardi, because so many bids are contingent on so many other things. It's not just as cut and dried as some people want to make it.
They've only gotten multiple bids once. Richmond and Navy made it in '86. Again, championship week presented by 7-Up rolls on with the Missouri Valley Conference Championship from St. Louis, Southwest Missouri State, and Creighton. That almost certainly will be a multiple bid league this year, as Southern Illinois seems to have done enough to get itself into the dance. They feel like they can get 5 teams into the postseason, NCAA and NIT combined in the Missouri Valley.
Well, it'll take everything going perfectly for Jeff Capel's squad, and even with that, a couple of mistakes by the visitors, who have put together a magical year, best in the school's history, and trying to put the finishing touch on it.
Creighton on top 11-9 in that Missouri Valley game. We'll get you out there as soon as we're done. Isaiah Hunter to the free throw line. He will shoot 2, and Hunter hits. Told you about his father, Irving. Team sold wristbands with the inscription "Look Up," which was the theme of a poem Isaiah Hunter's brother read at his father's funeral. Proceeds have gone to Coaches versus Cancer, and the season really dedicated to his father's memory. And it looks like it's a season that will end in the NCAA tournament, but not so fast. Walker hitting the three. It's a 5-point game. Foul goes against Pellarosa. 4 on Pellarosa. And Jeff Capel somewhat incredulous.
Well, except for the fact if you're not going to get a steal right off the inbounds, it's the next best thing. Get a foul with absolutely no time running off the clock, assuming you're going to need the foul.
Hunter led the conference in free throw shooting last season. 77% on the year this season, and now has 9 points despite a really tough night from the field. Got them both. Now VCU needs nothing short of a miracle at this point. Doles with a big three. It's a 4-point game. Kaya Thomas going to go to the free throw line. Doles has hit a few where they have been long, they've been off balance.
You got to
give some clutch shots in this game.
Got to give Jeff Capel's bunch credit. They have battled. This game was kind of wobbly for them. They took the lead, looked like they were going to win in regulation, and they have just refused to go down quietly here.
Thomas, the lone senior, Blaine Taylor's first recruit at Old Dominion. This the way he'd love to cap his career. Hits them both.
Rock solid from the line, though, making no mistakes.
Missouri Valley Championship game coming up next. Southwest Missouri State and Creighton. They've hit some big threes. P.A. Walker hits one.
They may just run out of possessions, Trevor, because they keep giving up 2, making 3. They're making them up a point at a time, but they're just not going to have enough trips up and down the floor.
69-66. Still just a 1-possession game. And as you say, they've gained a point on each one of these possessions.
Now that's what was significant. It was a 2-possession game. They've made a possession back. They need a turnover. They got a chance. And frankly, if they foul fast enough, there might be enough possessions to go down and repeat this again. 2 free throws for 3. Great decision to get it in the lane. Even though the defense knows you're going to shoot a 3, they respect that drive. Sucks them in just enough for the kick out and a good look at 3 from the wing.
14 points now in the game for Walker. Old Dominion's been great in overtime at the free throw line. 8 of 9 from the stripe. They nearly turn it over. Williamson was not the intended receiver on that pass.
Oh my.
It was headed for Hunter. Williamson got it, and Williamson will shoot.
In soccer, it's a good idea to play to space. Not in basketball. You don't throw it to space. That's what that pass was. Remember, you're right. He threw it, and that wound up not in the intended receiver's hands. It was just lucky that there was enough room to run it down.
Williamson, first trip to the line tonight. Just a 60% foul shooter on the year. He will shoot 2.
They desperately need 1. They certainly could use 2. There's still a lot of time.
Rolls it home.
Well, if they can make another 3, if he would have missed this, just 1 missed free throw anywhere in here, and they make a 3 on this trip, VCU, they might get a heave-ho at the buzzer for a chance. Slim chance, but possible.
Williamson hits them both. The Monarchs have been outstanding at the stripe.
Won't open the door.
Walker going to put up the 3. Misses it. It's tied up, and that should do it.
That was the one. Finally, they got him to miss a 3, and I think there's a collective sigh from the Monarchs and their fans.
A great effort by Virginia Commonwealth. Came in here with nothing to lose. Blaine Taylor's team had a ton to lose. Creighton on top 16-15 in the Missouri Valley. We'll get you out there as soon as we're done here in Richmond. Hunter hits the first one.
So many good coaches have come down the pike at ODU. Paul Webb, Tom Young. Of course, Jeff Capel's dad was there, and now Blaine Taylor going to take his team to the NCAA tournament. What must be going through his mind as he hugs his assistants?
First time since 1997, Old Dominion is going dancing. They are the Colonial Athletic Association champions. That's going to do it from Richmond. Old Dominion into the dance in automatic berth. They will represent the Colonial in the field of 65. Once again, our final 73-66. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. We now send you live to the Savvis Center in St. Louis, Missouri. The Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Dave Barnett and Tim McCormick with the call. For Bob Valvano, I'm Dave Remsen. Dave Barnett, we send it